Holy cow,
that they
that's
put in.
excellent.
Yeah, because he cost like 50 points, but
Oh,
because he got 33rd, he got 330 points for whoever drafted him. He was crazy. Bananas is a god.
I would say Bananas is rapidly like, I mean, what did he get placed on the top or in the top melee players this year? It was like 102, 107.
He got 102. Yes, he was arguably the player that got screwed out of the top 100 the most, because everyone thought that he should have been top 100, especially with his results and 33rd at Genesis this year, but that does not matter. We are going into it. Can I please get game sound, M?
Yeah.
And getting from Lunchables. Oh yeah, I forgot. I was like, wait, why is there a Meta Knight on screen? But on Facebook, Lunchables stating that he was going to play Meta Knight just because Arsenal's asked, wanting to know the team epidemic. Ooh.
So Shokio and Birdman, for a brief moment in the beginning, had really good stage control and a pretty solid lead, like, in terms of position, and then, well, rapidly this happened, and so...
Yeah, definitely some rough stuff coming out from both Birdman and Shokio. Wow, crouch cancel down smash, immediately getting interrupted, actually making the most optimal play for both of them.
Shokio going really deep for that edge guard.
Oh, yeah, and no avoiding the up throw back air coming out from Arsenal is going to steal that kill, but if there's anything you have to worry about is playing against the ledge against Captain Birdman's DDD, because it is literally gimpables.
True enough. Also, on top of that, like, DDD as a character does a wonderful job gimping both Fox and Meta Knight.
Definitely having a hard time against the multi-jump characters like we're seeing right there at the edge, but when it comes to fast fallers, just having an easier time. Now, Ooh,
good call out.
Yeah, I do understand the choice for Pokemon Stadium just being able to have more kill power, especially with some pretty rapid success coming out from Shokio and Captain Birdman. I think record-wise between these two, arguably a really good stage for ZSS and very good for camping the sides, especially as DDD. The only problems is talking about things like burst movement.
Absolutely.
For the two.
I know a couple players I've talked to in Houston basically have like the policy never let Fox go here, but I don't know about in doubles. Like, that's in singles where Fox gets to run the show. But like in doubles, and that was an interesting way to escape that situation.
It was smart too. Yeah, they're all laughing about it.
Oh man.
It's because up B out of shield, the startup, even though it is incredibly slow and it doesn't have armor on the startup, if I remember, the first hit will immediately send in a knockdown, especially if you're trying to crouch cancel, and then...
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
It has armor on the travel afterwards.
Right.
So...
This is actually looking like a pretty close game. Arsenal's and Lunchables only a little bit ahead at this point.
Yeah, it looks like that Lunchables actually playing the support between the doubles, or the doubles team between Arsenals, or for Lunchables as the concept. And allowing Arsenals to play more of a point, though when looking at Lunchables playing Roy, it looks like Lunchables has been playing the support, or the point during that time. Goodness, I can't even speak.
Up air, only with two separate characters. That was cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's an Ocho.
Yeah, Arsenals was having the time of his life. A lot of the time just being able to shark the hard falling DDD. I know that's one of his arguably worst positions to be in, is actually falling in the air, just because he has a lot of horizontal movement and not vertical. He has a really hard time getting down, arguably harder than Marth, in my opinion. So.
Absolutely, and on top of that, in a 2v1, where your coverage option is the size of half of your character to get down, and like there's nothing. Hey, Em, do you think that Oracle still offers cookies for people getting an Ocho? Or is that, like, gone now?
That's been a while.
Oh, that's a shame. That was, like, way back when. I remember the first LTC when he offered that. No one got it, or no one got cookies.
That was pretty cool, though. I had no idea.
Right there. Is that better, or do I need to be closer than this?
Yeah, definitely has to be...
eating the microphone. I see.
Yeah, practically.
Oh, yeah? I see. Excellent, thank you.
But very strong showing coming out from Lunchables, just as a team composition. I know that they've been playing for the past arguably month and a half, it seems, and just gaining synergy from both those feats, both being strong players, especially because Arsenals has such, both players actually having such strong game sense. So not really, I don't know. I feel like they're definitely sufficing for each other. They don't have to rely on each other teamwork-wise as much. While arguably Captain Birdman and Shokio have to use more synergy to combat the game sense that both of these players have.
I definitely agree. Arsenal's also, especially in the past like few majors or monthlies in the area, has been really showing potential in doubles. Like, what was it? CCC2, they got 2nd or 4th or something like that? It was crazy high.
Yeah, it wasn't bad. I think, yeah, it was Lunchables that got at CCC2. I know that he got 3rd at Smash and Splash 3 with Dusty, and then that team allowing him to gain more respect. I think Arsenal's for the past year or so has actually just been a strong monster in doubles, and then it's been shining through in his singles play as well.
That's excellent.
Just allowing for his game sense to travel more.
This is going to be a really interesting counter pick. Based on what I was seeing in the last game, Birdman and Shokio are both giving a lot of space to Arsenals and Lunchables. Primarily, like, anytime there was downtime, they gave them most of the stage and went and stood by the side because, like, I mean, it's scary. They're really fast, but... Yeah. So a stage where you can't do that may incentivize closer play, but also just may prevent the faster characters from just running the show again.
Yeah, that does make sense. But after a few scramble situations on both sides, it does look like there was a major gain of percent, especially for, or Lunchables dealing a major amount of percent, just because of how Lunchables is playing his Meta Knight. There's a lot of, it's a majorly defensive Meta Knight in doubles, while we see him pulling out the aggression. It's because Lunchables has that major reactionary playstyle that he's so well known for, and especially because the Sword Boy play travels over towards a character like Meta Knight, just having a great down tilt, dash dance, and then arguably better combo game than both Roy and Marth.
Absolutely. Ooh, good back here to take the stock.
Yeah, just playing very, very defensively, but making it relatively an even game. The one thing is that because Lunchables is playing so passive, especially in his positioning, we see on Battlefield that he has been playing on the platform more, just waiting for his opening. If not in shield, going for nairs out of shield, just to try to enclose that wall. Then he's not going to be building as much percent as we see from someone like Arsenals, who's definitely the more volatile character / player.
Absolutely. And I have there in moments where Shokio, like when an opponent's above Shokio and he's got anything in front of him, he's been retreating to ledge whenever it feels safe to, which unfortunately does forfeit a lot of space. And Birdman has been far enough away that he either can't help because he's dead or he's on the other side of the stage and just not fast enough to get in there. Yeah. And so that's caused a few minor issues. Once again, Arsenal with a setup for an edge guard that doesn't quite pan out this time.
Yeah, I do agree. And honestly, it's going to mostly depend on Captain Birdman's just overall awareness and survivability. Because even though it is relatively an even game, it wasn't prior, and it was just that clutch moments of them closing out, especially Birdman just immediately punishing Arsenals for getting the kills on Shokio. And Shokio, for a point player, not, I don't know, executing as well as I would expect.
I'm not really sure if either of them are playing a really aggressive point. Like, both of them seem to just be attempting to take space. Shokio hasn't really, like, played incredibly aggressive on anyone's territory, but at the same time, it's been kind of hard to. With that in mind, he's been searching for a lot more openings rather than just to, like, take space.
Wow.
Capitalizing on knockdown situations.
Yeah. Wow, and that was so good from Shokio just to invest into the forward throw. Birdman immediately capitalizing with the double back air just to make sure to push off Lunchables, and then getting that kill onto Arsenals. Ooh.
Uh-oh, Frontier Justice. It's all alone, Shokio.
Yeah, but it's that game sense that we were talking about earlier, especially Arsenals just capitalizing off of Birdman's floatiness, just being able to kill off the top with an immediate double jump, messing up the 2v1 situation, but with a grab game like Lunchables' Sword Boy play.
All right, so important question. If somehow Lunchables dies,
yes.
What is the matchup between these two result-wise?
So Arsenal's definitely been on top for the past 4 weeks, it seems.
Wow.
Shokio definitely being in a rut. So, but it could definitely change. I know Shokio trying to take it slightly more serious in his play. Not investing that much, and especially dealing with slightly more harassment from people like .com, Sosa, and Gallo when it comes to his pit play. So I don't know if that's going to give him slightly more drive, but yeah, great defensive drift. Just knowing that Arsenal's likes that full hop there.
Absolutely. Very nice. Also, one thing that Shokio, and I think all Zero Suits do this, and Shokio's been especially good about mixing it up in singles interactions, is retreating back air as Zero Suit Samus is basically unpunishable by most of the cast. So, especially in that scenario where he just he could turn his back to his opponent and then jump, and there's basically nothing you can do unless you're already on top of Zero Suit in that scenario. And so, with a short hop in air, you unfortunately killed yourself.
Yeah, I do.
As
agree.
Arsenal did. All right, so I actually don't know where either of them would want to go. Meta Knight, honestly, I'm assuming it's just a big stage. The 2 stages they struck, though, whenever they struck against Shokio and Birdman, were the 2 largest stages. So perhaps that's not actually what they prefer.
It's because they're trying to combat things like consistency versus volatility, because you're playing 2 characters that arguably live the longest, which is ZSS and DDD, versus 2 of the characters that die arguably the quickest, which is Meta Knight and Fox.
Right.
So, but because of the consistency that we're seeing from the play of Arsenals and Lunchables, definitely being able to play defensively enough to the point where they can just live on and then out-contest the survivability of DDD and VSS.
For the most part, they've been doing a pretty good job. Arsenal's edge guards have been spot on.
Yeah.
And Lunchables almost always has good edge guards, though it's been a little bit harder in the doubles scenario than it is in singles, I think, as it's not been quite as crisp as I've seen in the past.
Yeah. And I do really like this stage as a counterpick for Arsenals and Lunchables, just because that it doesn't allow for any form of escape, specifically on DDD's case. Definitely going to call out Captain Birdman's defensive play as it is, but it means that they're going to have to start raising the initiative or enforcing the initiative, and it has to start being more optimal as is.
Absolutely.
So they're going to have to start arguably pressing more buttons just to deal and apply more pressure on both CSS and DDD. The thing is that they have to be as crisp as possible.
Honestly, yes, absolutely. Ooh, both blue team in a bad position there, but able to get out of it pretty quickly.
Yeah.
Oh, that could mean a lot.
Yeah, and it was that really poor SD coming out from Lunchables that does put them at this deficit. Yeah, that was great.
Absolutely.
That hammer just recognizing that Shokio could come back, and then the high percent from Arsenals.
I guess that is one advantage. Oh dear. I guess that is one advantage to having characters that live forever. You can just hit each other, and it's bad, yeah, but it's not the worst thing.
Yeah, there definitely is a lot of room for mistakes to be made. Ooh, Captain Birdman making
maybe the critical one.
Yeah. They definitely have to start focusing. Ooh. They definitely have to start focusing Lunchables. Just because he is at that high percent, but because of his defensive play, it would arguably be smarter just to build up percent and then force the stock to disappear onto Arsenal's side, especially because he is at his last and the trade would work. Wow.
Ooh, very good.
He sniped with that jet hammer.
I'm wondering, so if there's any way they can create a situation where they can just continually gemp Arsenals, considering Fox of the 2 is easier to gemp, and Lunchables is at a percent where, is being pushed away. You're out of the fight for 2 seconds, which is a huge amount of time. So we haven't seen any opportunities for that. Arsenal's been very good about positioning himself such that, in worst case, he's just put back in the middle of the stage.
Yeah, I completely agree. And it's just that great awareness. Oh, just making sure that you are stuck to your teammates so you don't have to be far away. You're not allowed opportunities to be gemped, etc.
Absolutely. Lunchables in an interesting spot here.
Yeah, and it's Shokio's job just to hold off Lunchables, just so he doesn't punish Captain Birdman at that high percent. But with it all, I mean, being at that high percent, Shokio not being able to contest the wall against Lunchables is pretty well defensive play.
Absolutely. This is going to be really hard as a big body.
Yeah.
Okay, well, there goes Meta Knight for another 2 or 3 seconds.
Yeah. Definitely allowing him to enact.
Oh, let's go.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, let's go.
Lunchables thought that was pretty funny. But yeah. Poor performances. Arguably on Shokio's side, but still playing good enough to get what? What's that, grand finals? Was that?
Those winners finals?
Winners
They're still
finals,
in.
Yeah.
All right.
Arguably
possibly third.
Still in a chance to get third, yeah.